Nobody's saying anything different than anybody else. At all. There's no difference. Anything I say is the same exact thing as anything anybody else says. And I mean that in the same way that when scientists try to hack apart atoms and find what's the base constituent, they don't find anything. In that same manner, when people are speaking, the part that's different from each other is the part that if you hacked all of the words apart and analyzed them, you wouldn't find any difference whatsoever. Same thing. There's no finding of the thing. It won't stop people from trying. Because you try and find that, then you try and sell that. It's the same problem that has been with selling stuff since the idea first came about. Since it moved away from simply creating something that helped people in some way, since it moved away from that as the base or the premise, it's in the other thing now. And the other thing is technology. You try and replicate yourself out across wherever because you know the replication will bring some sort of fraction of the value of the original for every piece that flies out there. That's all business is. It's not anything different. The masterminds replicate themselves, and then the original is hiding somewhere, scooping in the stuff. I'm doing the same thing with videos. I'm replicating myself. If you were sitting in here in the car with me, then you would be getting something far more valuable than simply watching the replica, the reproduction. The technology reproduces the original. And that's what's happened. Just because everything repeats and fractals out in this universe, that's what happens. That's why it's so quiet, because everything is copying everything. You see waves of patterns. You see waves of behavior patterns. You notice when you wake up and get in your car, the cars are copying the same general sort of pattern that they were doing yesterday, with the same, roughly the same amount, and patterns repeat themselves. That being said, the thing that everyone thinks they're trying to get is not available for reproduction. I mean, to reproduce something, you gotta find it in the first place. of all spiritual teachings, and the way that it is, I can't even say the way that it was designed, because design implies hopping back into time, but the way that it is, there's nothing there to grab. You know, in order to sell something, you gotta like take a label and write a name on it and then slap the label on the thing. And of course, people are selling, you know, more inscrutable pleasures, such as feelings. People are, you know, companies have been selling feelings forever. They pretend they're selling you a handbag, but they're selling you the feeling of it. I read this book. I'm reading this book. It's called like Culture Against Man, I think. And he had in there the same idea that I talked about in one of my videos. I was telling Andrea about it the other day. He wrote this in like 1963 or something. And it was the same situation back then. Nothing has changed now except for the replication has happened on such a mass scale that the whatever, you know, sort of awake human beings are here, most of the population has been taken over by the programming, because the programming just wishes to repeat itself. And they're numb. They're very firmly in the groove. But the guy that wrote that book, he had a section that was on, he called it the brain box. But the concept was that companies are fighting for space inside of your mind. That's the actual real estate that they're fighting for. That's the territory they're fighting for. I've said the same thing. I think it was called like the true final frontier or something like that. I mean, that's not anything new. People who know that everything is mind as far as the phenomenal plane. I mean, that's like a big secret or something, but it's not a secret because it's been manipulated and abused by those who would research into the control methods forever. So when people come out of the stupor, then it feels like they're finding something really life-shattering or mind-blowing, because they found out that companies are competing for space within their mental sphere. But it's not a special thing. It's what's been going on forever. And companies as a whole must misrepresent their product. They have to. They have to make promises that they can't keep. They have to make promises that are... He had a word for what it was called. It was like... It wasn't called lying, but it was some sort of a... You know... I forgot the word. And he also said in there, if people were to use rationality, a modicum of rationality or logic or clear thinking, or they simply ask themselves, like, say, you know, is this deodorant really going to attract the hottest female in my city the first day that I put it on? You ask yourself that question, and then you'll find something. Maybe you won't get that deodorant.